You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. This is Voss here from theChrisVossShow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The Iron Ladies Things that makes official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show is the family that loves you. The only family that loves you, because, there's always members of your family that, well, what's that old adage? You don't get to choose your family. But the beautiful part is everyone at the Chris Voss Show loves your family, because it's just mostly me and some guy in the background, and some dude I just let in. I think he's living here now. Anyway, I'm making up shit. And we love you. So, and it's kind of unconditional. Unless you're evil, then we draw the line there. But for the most part, we love you because you're here, you're trying to learn, you're trying to judge. You're listening to the brilliant authors that come across this show for 16 years, 2,400 episodes. And boy, do we have another wonderful young lady who's going to lighten you and brighten you today. And also teach you how to deal with stress. So we're going to get into it with her. But in the meantime, we need to guilt, shame, and cajole you into getting 5 people in your downline to tell them to go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss. We should turn this into an MLM, probably make some money. Or not, get sued. That's what MLMs usually do. Go to facebook.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, and stop me before I segue again in the ramble. She is the author of the latest book called The Warrior Sings, out July 29th, 2022. We are joined today by Michelle Dosanjh-Johal. Did I get that right, Michelle?
You got it correct.
There you go.
Thank you, Chris.
There you go. She's also known as DJ Michelle in circles, but I'll leave that story to her. So anyway, we're going to get into her background, her experience of life, and she's going to tell you how you can live your life better, damn it. So there you go. She is a special education teacher, wife, and mom to children with autism and mosaic Turner syndrome. The challenges navigated with her children's diagnoses, including her daughter's open heart surgery, led her back to writing poetry as an agent of healing and self-love. Her poetry, seen as a call for hope and healing, can be found on her IG page, mindful.warriors.way. She's a Golden Key Honor recipient at the Simon Fraser University. Welcome to the show, Michelle. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. And give us your .coms. Where do you want people to find you on those interwebs in the sky?
So I am on Kajabi, so mindfulwarriorsway.com. I am also on Instagram, Mindful Warriors Way, and Mothers of Mental Health. I have 2 different accounts. And you can email me at michelledosanjh@gmail.com. So that is Michelle, LLEDOSANJH, Johal, JOHAL @gmail.com.
There you go. Make sure you get this double L on that, Michelle, because some Michelles do one.
1 L, that's correct.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the conspiracy is behind all that. That's for another show. So the links to your stuff will be on the Chris Voss Show if anybody needs to find them as well. Give us an overview. What's inside your book, The Warrior Sings?
Yeah, so The Warrior Sings really came about with my life story and the struggles and the challenges that I went through with my children. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to basically give you a quick rundown. Mm-hmm. At 3, my son was being diagnosed with autism. Mm. At 11, he was also being diagnosed with an extreme mood disorder. Mm. My daughter was being diagnosed with high functioning autism at 9. Mm-hmm. And then by 11, God bless this doctor who just became suspicious. And we had taken her in for something completely different. And he became suspicious based on her height because she was a short kid. And I just thought she was a short kid. But he did this blood test and it comes back positive for something called mosaic Turner syndrome. Mm. So unfortunately, what that meant for her was a whole slew of health issues.
Oh,
So
no.
she ended up with full-on open heart surgery
Mm-hmm.
by the time she was 15.
Wow.
At 17, she was diagnosed with another health condition, probably interlinked with the Turner syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And then she ended up with multiple blood transfusions,
Mm-hmm.
and she was hospitalized then as well. 3 months out of her, she had to step away from school for 3 months. And then at the end, when she was turning 18, she ended up with the scariest mental health crisis we've ever encountered.
Mm.
And so I have to preface this so people understand. This was and is a gentle, kind, young adult now, very compassionate, articulate. And she woke up a completely different person. She wasn't herself anymore. One moment she would be raging, throwing things. And I just thought, okay, she was ill at the time. And I thought, okay, maybe she's just finally sick and tired of being sick all the time.
Yeah.
But then she started to laugh like maniacally.
Wow.
She would be eating her cereal, and next thing you know, she's like eating her bowl. And so something was seriously off.
Yeah.
Took her to the hospital. The neurologist thought she had a brain disorder, a brain infection.
Mm-hmm.
And this is because she is immunocompromised.
Mm-hmm.
And so they thought it was delirium. They thought she had a brain infection. They took 2 months to rule it out. And then it ends up being ruled as psychosis. So psychosis, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like people don't talk about it enough because it was the scariest thing we'd ever gone through, to have this child who is yours turn into someone completely different. And it took 5 months in and out of hospitals to finally start to stabilize her, and then to get her to on the right medication. And so the book that we're talking about, and later on I created a program with all of the struggles I had faced and the things that, created, I realized had created resilience in myself. And the book was really one of my avenues to process all of what I was feeling and all of my emotions, which is also part of the program, is to feel, and process. We can't pretend like these things haven't happened, or it's going to become illness in your own body.
Yeah.
And so I basically processed everything. And this was the first time I came back to my poetry was when my daughter had just had her open heart surgery. So at 15. And 4 weeks in, my son, his extreme depression at 11 was showing up for the first time. So you can imagine 11 years old and extremely depressed. Like, how does that even happen?
Yeah.
Right? And
you haven't even found bills and taxes yet.
Exactly. But that was the case. And he's autistic as well. And so
yeah, that's probably. Yeah.
He would be running out of the house, like just bolt into traffic. So you can imagine it was really, really scary, and it was really, really unsafe. But my counselor told me I needed to find one thing for myself again. And the thing I found was I used to write poetry and I used to write stories and things. And often as an adult, you forget yourself, right? You get so stuck in all your responsibilities. So I came back to my writing poetry, and before you knew it, I had a whole page on Instagram, Mindful Warriors Way. And then before you know it, I was published.
Oh.
So this was a childhood dream of mine, to be published. And I had managed to transform my pain and my trauma into art. And I feel like everyone can transform their pain into something powerful.
Yeah. And a lot of it's what we talk about on the show. I mean, one of the reasons we have people like yourself on that are authors, they've gone through these cathartic moments in life, these tragedies, these challenges, and they've, through trial and tribulation, sometimes the hard way, they figure out a blueprint of how to survive and find hope again and
Yes.
emerge from those tragedies,
Yes.
and then they go and share them with others. And
Mhm.
that's we talk about that on the show. I mean, the show is just a assemblation of blueprints of different people's tragedies or challenges in life, and ways that they've found to come out of them, so that people can go, wow. And also the most important thing too is, I think, realizing you're not alone in the world and the tragedy you're going through. There are other people that have had it and survived, and knowing that kind of keeps you in the game. You're like,
Absolutely.
okay, I'm not, because that isolation. And please, people, if you feel like you're isolated, dial 988 on your
Mhm.
phone and ask for some mental help. It's free.
Mhm.
But no, I'm glad you found this vehicle for yourself, because one of the problems of being a mother or a parent, there's an old saying, you just like the flight thing, you've got to put your oxygen mask on first, because you
Mhm.
can't help others if you don't take care of yourselves. And mothers are naturally so giving of themselves, and they're so focused on their children, and making sure everything, and they're just hyper vigilant. I think women are designed with that hyper vigilance toward their children, because of that reason, and protecting them, and providing them the best that they can. And mom always eats last, is kind of a saying some people say. And moms has to take care of herself too. And these are
Absolutely.
these are challenging times. You're getting hit from all angles with your children.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that I came to realize, right? Because there's this misconception is that self-love is selfish,
Mm,
and it's actually that's not true,
yeah.
right? I mean, self-love is not the same as self-worship, right? We're not saying go out and make yourself better than other people. It's not narcissism. Self-love just places you as an equal, because often, like you said, mothers forget to
Mhm.
be taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
But when we come from a healed place, we're so much better off for
Mhm.
our children and for everyone else. So
Mhm.
it's not selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I mean, you scored a few things, but sharing your story, sharing your poems. There's the great thing about being an author is there's going to be people that are reading your book. You're going to touch. You're going to change their lives. You're going to move them. I remember we used to feed an automation, a feed of positive quotes into Twitter,
Mhm.
and there really wasn't a thought process. It was just positive quotes. We put it on an automated machine. This is what it is to Twitter. And over the years, I had two people write me and say I was going to commit suicide today, and I planned
Mhm.
it, and
Mhm.
I was going to do it. And your quote, just some anonymous thing, no intention to save people from suicide, came across, and you saved me.
That's
And it was
amazing.
powerful because you're just
Yeah.
like, wow, I just was,
Yeah.
screwing
And
around on Twitter.
I've actually had similar things happen on
Mhm.
Instagram, because I also try to be very really positive about how you can get through the dark times if you find
Mhm.
yourself an anchor, right? And for
Mhm.
me, that anchor was the love that I had for my children, because I went through some seriously dark times. But
Oh,
when I
yeah.
would focus on how much I loved my kids, that pulled me through. And I had a similar thing happen. I've had a couple of people reach out and say that
Mhm.
they were basically ready to end their lives, and somehow I managed to help them,
Yeah.
get past that, which was a blessing,
Yeah.
because you don't
And
ever want anyone to be at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. And we all are at different stages. We all go through different things. We all go through different troubles. And, knowing that you're not alone, finding other people that can help you, lift
Mhm.
you, they share their stories.
Mhm.
You just never know. Sometimes you find out, someone come up to you and be like, hey, this story really changed my life. And you're like, wow,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And so that's great.
Mhm.
When did you first start writing poems? I think you mentioned that you brought it back to poetry. Were there poems you were writing in your youth, or what were some of
Yeah.
the things you were doing there?
I used to write as a child, right? And then
Mhm.
responsibilities take over, and you forget all the things you're passionate about. You forget parts of yourself. And so I came back to it it was a COVID time that I came
Mm,
back to it. And it was, I think I just mentioned my daughter had just had her open heart surgery.
mhm,
My son was going through his extreme depression.
mhm.
That's when I actually started writing. So I just
Yeah.
made no excuses. I just thought, okay, I don't have a lot of time, but I can certainly write while I'm drinking my morning coffee. So I'd have, a cup of coffee in one hand, writing my poem with my other hand, and it happened.
Yeah.
So
There you
yeah.
go. Yeah, as long as you don't spill your coffee on the poetry.
Well, it might have happened once or twice, but I got through that. So
I do that sometimes, reading Marcus Aurelius in the morning out in the patio, getting my vitamin D, and I'll have the coffee there in the book, and every now and then I'm like, you're like, I thought I was picking up the book, I picked up the coffee. You're like, okay. So now you've developed this, I believe, into a kind of a brand, if you will, or a resiliency brand. Talk to us about some of the things you're doing on your website and ways you're utilizing your knowledge to help other people.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I did was, because people kept asking me, how is it that you're even okay? How are you still standing? How are you still like laughing? And how are you still happy? And I would just say, oh, maybe I'm a witch, but
that sounds like some Salem, Massachusetts, 1600 stuff.
Yeah, but the truth of the matter was, I'm a big nerd, right?
Yeah.
And so all along, and I have also had the privilege of teaching social and emotional learning here in the Surrey School District. I was the Surrey School District social emotional learning teacher, learning all these strategies, taking all these courses, online free courses for mental health with Yale, UBC, whatever I can get my hands on. And so there was all these evidence-based practices that I realized I had been learning about, but I had also been utilizing. So I thought about and reflected on all the things I'd been doing, and I put it together in a program. And it's called Make Stress Your Bitch.
I love that title.
And it's about finding out that resiliency is really a superpower, but anyone can learn it. Anyone can learn it through strategies. And so the framework I created is FAST, so that you can feel better fast.
Okay.
And each letter carries a different module and a different set of learnings with it.
And what's the main thing again? I just want to clarify that.
So the name of the program?
You said there was acronyms or saying where each letter. What is the full sentence of the word?
FAST, fast.
FAFT, fast.
So you can feel better fast.
Okay, there you go. That's very different than the FART that I had after talking about FAFT. I just want to make sure we were clear on that.
Yes. Let's be clear on that.
Definitely. Well, Taco Bell was pretty clear. Not sure.
Yeah. So stop making me laugh. This is very serious.
We do this on the show. We mix a little bit of this, that, and the other.
Yeah. So did you want me to elaborate?
Please do.
Okay. So F is, and I talked a little bit about it already, about the importance of feeling and not blocking our emotions and processing the things we need to process. And there's so many different ways we can do it. But that is the F part, is to make sure we feel and express. And one of the ways that we can feel into the things that we need to process is finding our passion, right? And finding our gifts. And so for me, it was writing, but for someone else, it might be, well, for you, it's podcasting and other things, right? So everyone has gifts. And it's just a matter of tapping into it, whether it is art, whether it's sports, whether it's academia, whether you're a nerd, doesn't matter. You all have a gift, and you can use your emotions as fuel and passion your gift, for your gifts. And feel into what you need to feel.
And passion is a great motivator and what's some other word I could use? It's a great thing to get stuff done in life. I mean, all great things I think built in life are built with passion. Especially like you see I don't know, I can't think of anything. I don't know. I was going to use the Statue of David, and I'm just like, I don't know about that. I was thinking of trying to think of great artworks and stuff that were created with passion. So just imagine folks like Leonardo da Vinci, passion. So yeah, and you're right. It can be a driving energy. That's the word I'm looking for, a driving force in motivating us to be best. What are some other aspects of the FAFT process?
So the A and the S, they stand for to accept and surrender to the things that you cannot change, so that you can focus the rest of your energy on that which you can change, right? So there are things that were given in my life that they're here already. If it's already here, I can't change that, right? My kids have autism. Well, I'm not going to be able to change that. My daughter has this health condition. I can't change that. And often as a special needs teacher, what I would see is a lot of parents who are wishing that their kid was neurotypical when they're not, or that their intelligence was different when it wasn't. They have an intellectual disability or whatever the fact might be. And it is in this resistance to what's actually there where the suffering.
Yeah. Denial of the truth, denial of reality, maybe?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And or you start creating like this victim mindset around it. Like,
Ah,
I wish this wasn't here. I wish this wasn't here. Well, it's bloody well here,
it's bloody well here.
right?
I love it.
And that's just gonna waste your energy.
Yeah.
You have to accept the fact that it's here, but what are you gonna do about it? Right?
Mhm.
So, but if you don't, then you're just gonna be stuck
Yeah.
in that suffering. And that's going to waste all of your energy.
And just to be thrashing about.
Yeah.
Miserable.
And so the hardest thing that I had to accept as a mother was my daughter's psychosis.
Yeah.
And it was not easy, but it was there. And so it was about the third time we went back to the emergency room. And by this point, she had become suicidal. And usually she was this really gentle, calm kid. Well, I keep calling her a kid, but she's, a young adult now. She was gentle and she was calm. But at that point, they had to put her in restraints because she kept trying to leave and run away from the hospital, and she wanted to kill herself.
Oh, wow.
Somehow she had become like Houdini. Okay, so she's like breaking free from these restraints and running away. So they had to put her in this room. It was like a prison cell.
Yeah.
So it was like concrete walls. There was a steel toilet, mattress on the ground. And at the same time, her IBD was acting up, and I didn't know if I was going to lose her. So it was the worst hour. And so I sat there. She was sleeping on the mattress. I sat down and I just had this conversation with God, and I just kind of surrendered it because I was like, well, if this is what's here, I guess this is what I'm going to have to deal with. So I'm just going to have to accept that. And I sat there and I actually blocked this out of my mind for a long time because when you have so much trauma, sometimes the brain will do that. Yeah. And it just came back to me recently. But I sat there and I meditated and I actually found a moment of peace.
Wow.
Yeah, and exactly. And I was thinking to myself, how is this even possible? I'm in the middle of the worst, horrific nightmare. How am I feeling some kind of peace right now? And I think it was in the surrender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's kind of a moment that I think in those moments where I always think of a moment of gratitude, but I think you're right. I think it's surrender. And so what I usually find in the most cathartic moments, and believe me, I learned this the hard way because I've done a few. Not by choice. Thanks, life. But that's welcome to life.
Right.
And a lot of times I found when I hit rock bottom or I hit that moment, that gratitude is kind of what I turn to. But I think part of that is the surrender you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's that moment where you go, okay, we're here, and I need to appreciate what little I have left. Thanks, life. And I need to accept that it's gone or it's going.
Yeah.
And what do we need to do from here? I don't know if you want to finish your story, and I'll tell one of mine.
Yeah, no, that was the end of the story. So I'd love to hear yours.
I think of maybe another example of this is I remember my dog. My dog had started she wasn't eating. She was drinking like a fish. And this is my first episode with cancer of animals. And so I didn't know what was wrong, but she was a husky, and huskies hold their tail up. So you have to look at their butthole all the time, which is really annoying. Because, I'm just like, can you put that thing down? Like, I don't walk around with my underwear off. But it's a husky, curled tails. So it's just a joke. Anyway, so you're like, I don't even like to see them go in the yard. I'm like, hey man, don't do that in front of me. So do I do that in front of you? And they're like, yeah, because we come in the bathroom to watch you. And I'm like, well, I didn't ask you to. Anyway, these are some of we're working this out with the therapist right now. Me and my dogs. Anyway, we need more boundaries, evidently. So especially in the bed, we need boundaries because they just take the whole bed and they're just like, well, the boundary for you is on the floor. Anyway, so there started to be this bulb that I could see growing, and we were starting to get blood on her anal sac area. I don't even know what an anal sac area was until this time. I just, you could see it, and you're like, what the hell is that? And, it started looking like a pimple, and there was blood on my floor. And so I'm like, okay, well, off to the doctor we go. So we went to the doctor. The doctor goes, yeah, I've stuck my finger in there and there's cancer everywhere. She's got anal sac cancer and it's pretty bad. Now you could do chemotherapy. She's a 14-year-old dog. I mean, you don't want to torture her. Come on, man. She's old. She's had a good ride. Call it. And he's like, do this. Go take 3 days. Take a bunch of pictures. Spend the quality time. Come back and we're going to call the ball. And I was like, I was just. I mean, went from perfect life, everything's perfect. I'm sure you know what that moment feels like, to where everything's just blown up to hell. And so I went home that night and I was going through the emotions, kind of what you talked about, the theater of feeling attacked and destroyed and feeling kind of victimized. And I got thinking about it and I thought, okay, there's got to be something I can do. And I was like, well, there's nothing you can do. The doctor said there's nothing you can do. And I'm like, but what if he's wrong? And then I started thinking, okay, where am I at? And so I came to that moment, like you say, the surrender moment, where I went, okay, this is where we're at. She has cancer, and she may, do I take her in 3 days or what? What do I do? And at that point, I started thinking, I wonder if there's something I can find online to help. I wonder if there's anything I can do. I wonder if I need to know more about what's happening with my child, right? You probably did the same thing. You're like, I need to know more. I need to read. I need to advocate. I've got to understand what's going on. And so I did that. And within a very short time, I found the raw diet, and we put her on a raw meat diet. We cut out sugar. She can't swallow sugar. We give her a high fat diet. And I called the doctor and I go, we're not coming in at the end of the week. We're going to ride this out and see where it goes. And my summation was that I found through that surrender was, if she has a death sentence, everything's up from here. If I can find solutions to help her or make things better or improve or buy more time, everything's plus, right? Because she's already got a death sentence. So I did that, and she lived for another 1.75 years. And really, she didn't die of cancer. She died of arthritis failure.
Wow.
And combined with cancer, of course. But that moment empowered me. The moment I surrendered, like you talked about, and I said, okay, this is what it is, And some people, like you say, they'll deny it. Oh, it's not. No, it can't be. 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4. There's no way. This doesn't happen to me. And then you're just delaying and mucking up, potential resources you might have.
Exactly. And it's not always an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
But it's the thing that you need to do if you want to free up your energy. Exactly what you're talking about, to figure out, okay, what's my action plan, right? And put that energy towards your action plan. So
advocate. I've learned that in the medical field. I got a lot of stories about dogs and quacky vets that, maybe they had good intentions, they knew some knowledge, but in another case with that same dog, earlier on we had 2 doctors telling me she had cancer and to put her down, and another doctor saying it's just a boil that's under the skin, let it come out and it'll be fine. And turns out that's what it was. And the other 2 were giving her death sentence. So you have to advocate, and you can't do that unless you have that power, like you say, of surrender. Do we go through the whole stanza of the?
Well, there's only one point left, and that is T. And T stands for transform with your mind. And we've also talked a little bit about transforming with your gifts as well, but mindset is so powerful, right? Mindset is everything. And so you have Sarah Al-Madani and Robin Sharma have talked about how the mind is not your master, it is your servant. But what people often do is they just allow the mind to run them without even realizing it, right? It happens at this subconscious kind of level. And if you allow your mind to run you, it's going to run you into victimhood and victim stories, right? But if you take control of your mind and start programming in exactly what you were talking about before, with gratitude, with affirmations, with better thoughts, right? With hope, with all those kinds of positive things, then you can transform anything. There's stories of powerful people, people who went through, like Viktor Frankl, the concentration camps and lived through it just through the power of mindset and his focusing on the love he had for his wife,
Hope is the thing that seems to lift all boats and be, I think, one of our greatest things as human beings.
Absolutely. I tattooed hope onto my body. So I've got a lotus flower here on my arm. And that was for my daughter when she had her open heart surgery. And it was because a lotus flower comes from mud. And I told her, after all of the suffering of your surgery, you're going to end up with, a fixed heart and something beautiful. And so tattooed that onto my body, but it's also been a reminder to always hope, right? Yeah. So mindset is super powerful. And one thing I think I would leave people with as well is, if they're going through a super dark time, to find that kind of an anchor, right? And when you're in that moment, it's hard to do all the things that we're talking about. When you're in that moment, sometimes it's just about just pushing through and getting through the next day and the next and then the next until the crisis passes, right? It feels like you're in a boat and the boat has sprung leaks and all you can do is stay afloat, right? I say, give yourself a lot of grace when you're going through times of crisis and find an anchor, right? So whether that anchor, for me, it was, I would focus on how much I loved my kids, and that would pull me through. Your anchor could be love, right? Mindset of love. It could be a mindset of hope. It could be a mindset of faith, thinking that and knowing that better times are ahead. And there are better times ahead, right? And you're able to create that for yourself, but it starts with the power of your mind. So.
Yeah. The power of your mind and mindset. Now, you do a 6-week course with this Make Stress Your Bitch. Do you want to tease a little bit of that out to us? And how can people on board with that or reach out to you and find out more?
Yeah, so you could either reach out, like I was mentioning, my email, or you can reach out through my Instagram or on my website, which is Mindful Warriors Way on Kajabi.
There you go. And so how do they work with you over the 6-week course? Do they do a one-on-one with you personally?
So there are 2 one-on-one sessions, and then there's my next 6-week course is going to be starting mid-August, and it will be live group sessions. So for an hour, teaching all the strategies. And so there are strategies. There's my FAST formula, the framework. There are strategies of the heart. There's strategies. It's a holistic approach of the soul. There's strategies of the mind. There's strategies of the body. So I have also, thrown in a lot of these evidence-based strategies, such as, like you're talking about, gratitude, mindfulness, meditation, etc., along with the framework that I just talked about. So yeah, please reach out. I would love to hear from people.
Reach out. There you go. So people can reach out to you and do that. Anything more we want to tease out on the show or promote on the show? Well, we're still here.
Well, you did introduce me as a young lady, and I have to correct that. So I'm actually turning 50 in another.
You're still young, honey. Give me a break. I'm almost 58. You're young in my book.
Well, okay, we're both young.
We're both young. I like this thing. No, it's kind of a Johnny Carson trick that I do where we make the guests feel special. or we try to.
Well, mission accomplished.
There you go.
But in honor of my upcoming 50th, I actually wanted to be collecting items for the homeless. We have quite a problem here. If you wouldn't believe it, but here in Vancouver on Hastings Street.
Oh,
yeah. And the statistics show, and since I'm, a big advocate now for mental health, 50 to 70%, depending on where you look at the statistics or get them from, 50 to 70% of homeless people actually have a mental illness. And so for my 50th birthday, I will be collecting items. So whether it is blankets, food, and toiletries, whatever, they might need, and I'll be collecting them and delivering. So reach out to me if you would like to be a part of that.
There you go. That's a wonderful thing. British Columbia, Canada. What a beautiful place. What a beautiful place.
It is.
And the word A.
Did I say A?
No, you didn't. I was trying to bait you. Usually you guys in British Columbia, you guys you guys work hard to hide the boots and the sorries and the A's, don't you?
Well, no, not really, but every once in a while it does seem to come out. And then, yeah.
I usually beat my guess. I always get in a boot sometimes during the show, and I'm like, I got you.
Oh, so you have a lot of Canadians then.
I love Canadians. They're the most wonderful people. We've had a million of them on the show. I'm a big Rush fan. A big Second City fan. You guys produce some of the best comedians in the world. Best musicians other than Nickelback. No, I'm just kidding. We like Nickelback. It's wonderful strip club music. Anyway, you can have Justin Bieber though back. We're still trying to return him, and you guys won't let him through the border. So we'll keep Shania Twain. Or is it Shania Twain Canadian?
Yeah, he's Canadian. Yeah.
I'm thinking of the other.
No, Shania's Canadian.
Yeah, Shania's Canadian, but isn't also who's the other young lady that's really popular right now with all the women? She's like the #1 music star. Isn't her name Twain or something like that?
I'm not sure who you're talking about.
I'm not sure, but see, there's the boot. I got one. All right. Well, thank you very much. I'm just mucking about, Michelle. Having some fun. So, Michelle, thank you very much for coming to the show. We really appreciate it.
Oh, I so appreciate being here. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Taylor Swift is Canadian, isn't she?
No.
I thought she was.
Oh. I don't think so.
Right. She's never going out with me now. All right, then. I don't know. Taylor Swift, I swear to God.
I'll have to Google that now just to be, double check, but I'm pretty sure she's not.
I thought she was, because you guys produce so many wonderful people up there, and I'm a big Rush fan. So I think I always joke with our Canadian friends. I'm like, you guys have to live next door to us, and we're like that drunken criminal brother all the time who's always picking fights with everyone in the world, and you guys are up there going, geez, we're in the fallout zone of these idiots, and they're just running around being asshole Americans, punching everyone in the face. And I don't think it's right we're being mean to Canadians either. I want to make that point in 2025. I love Canadians, wonderful people. I mean, if anything, Americans need to learn to say sorry a lot more. That would be a good thing.
We say sorry a little bit too much. I personally say sorry too much.
Yeah. Well, you guys are better than us, I think. But it's cold up there, so gotta stay warm. Anyway, thank you very much for coming to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Order up per book wherever fine books are sold. The Warrior Sings, out July 29th, 2022. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time. And that should have us.